Steve Harris from White Maiden and British Lion. You're listening to Andrew McCaskey from Scars and Guitars.
G'day everybody and welcome to the show. I'm pleased to bring you a conversation with Ben Weinman from the group The Dillinger Escape Plan. Now the catalyst for the chat with Ben is due to an Australian tour featuring Dillinger. They are playing throughout August 2025. I'll put all relevant information, including the link to tickets, in the episode description. Now, throughout the discussion, Ben shares his thoughts on the idea of a cover album. What about two vocalists? Will that ever happen, given that Dimitri Minakakis is back playing in the group after Greg Puciato's very long tenure with the band? Ben also discusses raising children. We talk about family, social media, and a range of other intriguing topics. So here he is, Ben Weinman from the Dillinger Escape Plan.
Hey there, can you hear me?
Ben, yeah, absolutely. How are you, mate?
Good, how are you?
Good. How have the calls been going? They were hotly anticipated, I understand.
Well, I only had one so far today, so this is number 2.
Oh, there you go. Okay, yep. How do we, I always ask these questions up front, by the way, so you do a lot of this sort of stuff, Europe, North America. Do the Australian journalists, they're not really journalists, are they? They're fans that have a very strong interest, so become citizen journalists, if you like. Do we differ in any way to the rest of the world, in your experience?
No, some of you actually know who we are and have good questions, and some of you read Wikipedia and just kind of go through the typical ones. But I do say that the people who are actual fans of the music and are more versed on the band and the history are very, very loyal and amazing people. Like, ever since we started going to Australia, we had heard that Australians were very loyal and very into obscure music. Bands that would never, ever be even, probably nobody would ever heard of in the United States were on like top radio charts and things like that. And when we got there, it was true. People were really fans of amazing, weird, eclectic music and stay loyal for a very long time. So, like, the journalists that really are into the band and really want to know stuff are typically really excited and really, and I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. So the catalyst for our chat, though, and for this round of media is the August shows. Okay, So you're playing major capitals. Is this an opportunity? Okay, no, I was about to ask one question. I'm going to stop myself and ask another question.
Sure.
And I spoke to I know you guys are very different bands, but the guys in Halloween only recently, and I feel like it's a bit of a rebirth for them. But do you feel like it's something similar for you guys?
It's a good question, because it's almost like it is a rebirth from, when we ended the band officially in the end of 2017. We played our last shows, and that was at 20 years. And it felt like a very climactic ending. If everything felt right, there was nothing I left on the table. I walked off stage that last night and felt like everything was said that needed to be said. But then when the opportunity and the offers came in to do this reunion, Calculating Infinity, our first album, 25th anniversary with our original singer, that was, it's almost, I don't know about a rebirth, but it's almost like going back in time and getting a chance to do some things we never maybe didn't appreciate as much as we thought, as we knew we would, or didn't have the opportunity to really take in at the time. And now, 25 years later, doing this again with one of my best friends, Dimitri, the guy who I started the band with, it's, I guess in many ways, the enjoyment that we're all having together is a bit of a rebirth, because it's a lot less stressful than when we were doing the band full time and really as hard as we were.
Are you getting a lot of questions about what may or may not have happened with Greg?
No, but I'm not against it. I mean, most people don't ask me anything about that. But
oh, fair enough. Yeah. So he's gone on. His solo album's very good, I felt, and he did tour here. I went and saw him when he came down under, and he did a pretty bloody good job with the band that he had at the time, though. So excuse me. Sorry.
Yep. Good.
Are things from the perspective of with Dimitri and Greg in terms of the next evolution and the next stages of the band, if we're talking about rebirth or that sort of thing, what sort of direction do you think you'll go in? Are you open to, as I say, Halloween? I just spoke to those guys. They've got 3 vocalists in the band. So are you maybe open to doing something similar?
I mean, like I said, that creatively, we really felt like at the end of 2017, we said everything we need to say. There really is no plans to do new music with Dillinger. There's some demos laying around, things we never really finished, and could be fun to kind of like bring those out and polish them off and kind of, give them another perspective now that we're older, but still not necessarily revamp the band from scratch as a new band. I think it's important there's a lot of bands who like do that. They come back many years later and they reunite and they go to do an album, and it's just like, are they doing it for the right reasons? Are they the same people they were when they were doing that music to begin with? Should it just be another project? I don't know. Those are all questions we have to ask ourselves. We certainly wouldn't do anything without feeling like it felt right and it was necessary. And right now there's really nothing left unsaid, no stone unturned, really, I don't think. And I think, everybody in the band is doing other things and stuff like that. So,
yeah, I hear. Yeah, you've done some extraordinary covers over the years too. I'll always remember seeing you perform "Cult of Personality." You did a great job with that. It does leave the door slightly. Fun. Yeah, well, but it was the way you interpret it. You've got to. I don't have to tell you, mate. You guys play with a certain white knuckle intensity that few have. And you brought that to that tune, which is one of the greatest rock songs ever written. Let's face it, right up there. It
really is.
There's that one. There's someone just talking about from the fans' perspective, "Killing in the Name of" and "Smells Like Teen Spirit." You got those 3 that sort of sit up there. But have you ever thought about doing something like a covers album, ironically or otherwise?
Well, we keep thinking about different covers we could be doing on these shows. Because ultimately there is like a limited amount of material that we are performing, because it is just early material that our original singer was on. So it's our first full length album and a few EPs, it's been fun to kind of bust out a few different covers. We did California Over Alice with Jello Biafra. It came out and sang it with us. That was really fun. And we did a few covers, some of which went over people's heads. We did a Rollins Band cover that the young fans didn't really get, but we did like a Ministry song when we played in Chicago, which was really cool. But yeah, we're just kind of having fun with it. We haven't thought about recording it though.
What was the Rollins cover?
Tearing Me Apart.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great album, Into Silence, man. It's such a
It's
killer.
a great album. We love it as a band, and when we played it, we realized it's kind of a long song. It's kind of after all the intensity of the stuff we were playing, it was a little bit like we enjoyed it, but it felt like the crowd's kind of like, all right, keep next, yeah. And we were like, all right, maybe that wasn't the best choice, but we had a good time.
I'm just going to cherry pick some moments from throughout the band's career, okay, and talk to you about them if that's cool. So,
yeah.
Iworks, I'm not going to suggest for a minute it's different to the rest of the album, but it's the rest of your career, but it certainly does have some tracks on there that would challenge the stock standard listener if I could ever describe someone who listens to your music in that way. But would you think, do you look back on a song like Mouth of Ghosts as your way of challenging the listener and the definition of heavy?
Yeah, I mean, more importantly, I think it was a way of challenging ourselves. At a certain point by your third or fourth album, that when you play a kind of music like we do, we got very good at writing Dillinger stuff. Like, I can write a Dillinger song like nobody's business. That's what I do. That's what I'm good at. But how do you write a song that touches on other elements, other styles, maybe more typical song structures and dives into more melodic content and still have it be interesting and be Dillinger, still have some of those signature things and that vocabulary that we use on all our other songs. So a lot of those things were a way to see how can we create songs that sound very different but are still us. And Mouth of Ghosts I had written on a piano, and so it's one of those things where sometimes you just have to change your writing style, put yourself in a different situation to kind of create something new. And just getting on a piano instead of a guitar was the way we did that one.
What about Option Paralysis? Okay, so that album almost feels philosophical in a way, in that it's very reflective, and I think it had some broader commentary on modern culture at that time, which is interesting actually, because of how much things even changed. Everything got upended since then, as we've seen with the US presidential elections on both sides of the aisle, and the COVID thing and all the rest of it. So did Option Paralysis, was it a social commentary, your version of a social commentary?
It was, and I think what it was is like we were coming into an age where there was so much noise. There's been, and as an artist, with when we were younger, there was these gatekeepers that told you who you should listen to, what you should know about. We had in America MTV, and we had the popular radio stations, and if certain artists got past those gatekeepers, that's who you saw on the cover of Rolling Stone, that's who you heard on the radio, and that's who you saw, and that's what you had access to unless you really dove deeper and deeper and got underground with it. And then we got into an age where the internet and access and the ability for everybody to create fairly quickly and easily, with not only quickly and easily, but with a roadmap of how to do it. You could see exactly what amps people are using, what software people are using, what they look like, how they're dressed, what their haircuts look like. There really was a blueprint all over YouTube, all over social media of what the way you're supposed to do it. So it was kind of frustrating being a band that came up in a time towards the end of where we grew up with artists like David Bowie and stuff who didn't know what an artist was supposed to be. He didn't know what they were supposed to look like. He didn't know anything. He was just expressing himself in the way that he felt he should, and that was what people got. Who knows if he could sit on YouTube and watch bands all day, if he would have looked how he looked and performed how he performed and stuff like that. So it really was a time where people had so many choices. There was so much noise that nobody really could tell what was important anymore. And so that's really what Option Paralysis was all about. Like the fact that the people are actually, I think we started to suffer from not a lack of information, but we're in an age of too much information.
Talking to you, I can see you've got your LinkedIn profile on your Zoom thing or what have you, but I can see that it's up there. But what that alludes to me is someone who's very well connected with what's going on in regards to the social applications and the everyday. So you're not hiding from them. So you don't strike me as a guy who has a Nokia 6120 or what have you, like a lot of musicians are talking about doing. So just in terms of your next project or venture as a musician, so talking about you, what do you think you'll do?
I'm really trying. I'm trying to do new things, challenge myself in new ways, and also kind of collaborate with people in different ways than I did. So not necessarily in a band, but working on movie projects. I'm writing a screenplay with someone, and I've been doing some soundtracks that are really more like me collaborating with a director than with other musicians, and trying to really help realize his vision. I've been doing I own a coffee shop, and we started roasting coffee, and I started really getting into the idea that just like with music and Dillinger, when you combine certain things, different kinds of things together, you can make something greater. So experimenting with different kinds of natural flavorings and wellness things and herbs and coffee culture and trying to figure out how to create something that really just never existed before. That's, again, it's really what I was doing with Dillinger when I was a kid, and I'm just doing it again in a different way. I've collaborated with a lot of artists too. I mean, I have projects in my computer I never finished with artists that I never thought I'd ever even know, let alone be making music with. And whether or not we finished some of that stuff, I don't know. But I really don't have the need for people to hear my stuff anymore. I don't have the need to be on stage necessarily and have people clap or know who I am or anything like that. My ego has been in check a lot more. I have children now. Just what's important to me has changed. And so I'm not sure I'll ever like go do a new band and try to hit the road and be on tour and do that whole thing ever again, honestly.
Yeah, they're profound points, that one, especially around children, because so many people are deciding not to these days. It's kind of, I'm not going to go all Elon Musk on everybody and say you have to have 8 or 9, but I've met people only just this year who swear black and blue that they'll never have children, and they cite everything from climate change to economic collapse or what have you. Now, I understand they may be relevant things, but mate, someone's got to have the kids to keep the civilization, the population moving.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's a big problem. I mean, China's going to fall because there's not enough young people to take care of the old people, and that's going to be their collapse. And, the kids aren't for everybody. And if I ask somebody, when you're on your deathbed and someone asked you, do you wish you had kids? If you think you might say yes, then you should really consider giving it a shot. But if you feel and have no doubt that you won't feel you missed out on anything, then don't. That's fine. Don't have kids. But it truly is the only time in your life that you will be egoless is when you have a kid. There's no other time when you would jump in front of a car without thinking to like save your kid, or just do something truly selfless for your kid, instinctually, not even like because you think someone might see it or it might make you look good or like it. I mean, there is no true altruism really, but like when you have a kid, things are different, and so it's a really beautiful thing to feel what it's like to not have an ego in a certain situation,
No, I agree. Yeah, absolutely.
Children?
Yeah, I do, mate. I got 2. I'm 10 and 12, mate, and I wouldn't have any other way. It's
that's amazing.
It's been me and my wife we're married for 15 years, and
amazing! Congratulations.
The problem, Ben, is that we're the only ones. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're the only ones that are married with kids, and everybody else has decided to take a different route with their life, and we're starting to not resemble the people around us, which is a bit sad.
Yeah, you end up having kind of like, who do you hang out with? It is different. People, I remember when I became a dad a little bit older, so I remember when my friends with kids would all kind of hang out, and I'd be like kind of resentful, like, wait a minute, like, why are you guys all hanging out just because you have like, I'm a human too, whatever. And then you realize that there are really certain things that you just have in common when you have kids that you can relate to. Even just the fact that they can hang out together and you can talk as adults for, for a few minutes.
Yeah, correct.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is an interesting thing because you do learn a lot about yourself through them. But it's not for everybody.
No, I agree, mate. Yeah. Hey, have I got time for 1 or 2 more questions, or have you got to go to the next one?
Yep. I do have another one, but let's do it.
Yeah. I'm really keen to get your insight on social media. That's what I was alluding to earlier, because it's a paradox. So do you see it that way as well?
I wish it would go away. If I could press a button and it disappears, every single Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, I would do it in a second.
Yes.
I mean, I love that I can video chat my kids from another country. I love Google Maps, that I can go anywhere I want to go and find any place I want to go. And I love technology. I love all this stuff. But as far as like the information age and the misinformation age, as we should call it, I would I think we used to be dumb because we didn't have enough information. You had a few news outlets, and now we're dumb because we have too much information. And it's like, I feel like it does nothing but bad things. And the truth is also that, like, the people that are making all the money are the people at the top of these social media companies who really profit off of people arguing, and then finding those like-minded people who spend a lot of time arguing in one place and then targeting with ads to sell them shit. And that to me is the people. There's a lot of people on social media complaining about capitalism and this guy and this guy and this guy, when they're really feeding the problem, sitting here creating division on social media, so that one or two guys are getting all the money who employ a very little amount of people. As opposed to some of these companies that are going down that employ millions and millions of people who can't survive because we're all sitting there arguing and being targeted with ads and links to buy shit direct. So, and I do it too. I buy stuff, I don't even try it on. I just go, oh, cool, let me get this sweater. And so but if I can make that go away in a second, I would just blow it up, man. Get rid of all social media.
I think
that's how I feel.
Well, I think you and I could talk for hours, mate. And yeah, I think I call it you're beyond the black rainbow, in honor of that film. It's it feels very much like that. I've got to say, for the record, I have deleted Facebook and Instagram and X and everything else off my phone. And
good for you.
I just use it on the desktop if I do need to use it, because I got the show, and that's the only reason I need to use it. If I didn't, I wouldn't be bloody on it. I don't need to see what people I went through high school did with 35 years later. I don't care.
Right. I understand completely.
Mate, thank you very much for the chat. Look forward to seeing you guys when you perform down here. Thanks again, mate. Thanks for your time. Have a good day. What do you think? Hope you enjoyed that one. A short, sharp shock of Ben. I messaged John, the bloke who sets all of these things up for me, and said to him afterwards, gosh, it'd be great to have more time with blokes like Ben, but you get what you get. And incidentally, that chat had been postponed twice, so the third time lucky, it turns out. Either way, I'm grateful to Ben and also to my good mate John for facilitating these conversations. I really do enjoy what it is that I do here, and I hope that comes across. If you're new to what it is that I do, go across to scarsandguitars.com, because there are plenty more conversations there that you can sift through, but you can do that on Spotify or virtually any podcast streaming platform these days, and YouTube. They're all there, but the website, every single thing I do is available there if you're curious. That's it from me. My name is Andrew Mackay-Smith, and I'm the host of Scars and Guitars. Until the next one, it's a goodbye for now.